Today I'm going to try my first salt bar, and I'm going to make it in the loaf, not in individual molds. So we've got our salt, which is 12 ounces, that I'm going to add to my 2-pound batch. We're going to have Kaolin clay as usual. I'm also going to include rose clay for some color, some natural color, sugar. We're going to be using up some of our Lilac infused olive oil. We're going to be using some Alea red sea salt. Alea red sea salt, as well as some Himalayan pink sea salt. Our fragrance will be pink sugar type. This is a difficult one for me to describe, which is normal. It does smell sweet, but not like candy or baked goods sweet. It's a really nice scent, and I'm curious about its retention in the soap. Let's see if I can make a successful loaf of salt bars. Strain our lilac infused olive oil. Okay, our salt bars. This is the olive oil that was infused in lilac flowers. I think I'm going to go ahead and add our fragrance into the oils. Pink sugar. We've also got some Kaolin clay in here. Our lye water. So we don't want this at any kind of a real trace, I guess. Here's our salt. Here we go, my first salt bars. Only minorly nervous here. Anything new you get a little concerned about, right? See if we can mix out our bubbles. Look at those pretty bubbles. And I'm going to pour some into here to color with the rose clay. We'll see what happens, won't we? Excuse me, didn't mean to bump you there. Well, let's see if it'll pour. Not too bad. I always think that the spoon decoration on top is actually really pretty. This is very thick, look at it. Got our pink Himalayan sea salt. Just drop that in there. I might have to push it down, kind of looks like. A little bit of our Alea red sea salt. And I'll just kind of push in a little bit any salts that look like they are not attaching to the soap properly. And there you have it. See you in a few hours. It's been 3 hours. That came apart pretty well. I think we can unmold it. Oh yeah, looks like it's, yep. It's gonna come out pretty easy. I think I should actually probably be wearing gloves right now, but I'm not. Oh, how interesting. It's hot. So the reason why I decided to go ahead and make my first salt bar batch is because just recently Lisa with I Dream and Soap added a whole bunch of salt bars to her shop. And I was like, man, that's amazing. And she comments back and says that they're fun because you get to unmold them so quickly. And I was like, unmolding quickly? That's amazing. Still soft, very cuttable. Ooh, cool. Like it. Sure feel all of that salt. Can't wait to try this. I've never actually used a salt bar before. Pretty. What a nice pour. Very nice. The fragrance is wonderful. It's definitely messier cutting a salt bar. Wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy with this in the pot swirl we got. I should be showing you the top too, huh? So here's our swirl, yes. My little crevice here is filling up. This definitely feels different cutting it. I haven't actually looked up the benefits of salt bars. Maybe I'll do that for my outro. Do a little bit of research on why make a salt bar or why use a salt bar. It's like cornbread. Very crumbly. Looks like a desert, doesn't it? So here we have another one of those examples of where it is important to look up the notes of your fragrance oil. So after I was watching this bar cure after just one day, I decided to look up the information on its vanillin content, which is 8.2%. My pretty little desert-looking swirl is gone, and I think this is going to get even darker than what it is. It says it will discolor to a chocolate brown, so that should be darker than this. The top is still yellow, interestingly. I have a really difficult time describing this fragrance, as I said already. Nature's Garden, which is where this is from, says fruity blend of cotton candy, lemon drops, caramel, and raspberry jam on a dry down of musk. I don't know if I agree with that, but we all have different noses. Like I said, it's sweet, but it doesn't remind me of candy or cookies or cake or anything like that. I recommend the fragrance. Just remember the 8.whatever% vanillin content. So as I promised, why use a salt bar? Always remember, claims about healings and nourishings are all just claims. You have to experience it for yourself because everybody's different. Everyone has different skin. Everyone has different reactions. Everybody's different. But I looked up a few things that are mentioned about why to use a salt bar. First of all, exfoliating. That one's pretty clear. It's got salt granules in it. It's going to exfoliate your skin. This leaves your skin smooth. It stimulates blood circulation, which is true. Exfoliating does stimulate blood circulation. Also detoxing. That could be because salt draws things, kind of like activated charcoal does that too, and clays. Reduce acne, pore cleansing. That could be, which some people might not want to use that directly on their skin. It could be too rough, so you just use a washcloth. The salt benefits would still be there. Creamy lather, which is considered luxurious. Salt tends to counter suds. I'm very curious how these bars will behave. I'm going to definitely test it before I try to sell it, just because it's a different recipe than what I normally use, and I've just never done this before. Helps reduce inflammation. This could be true with the stimulating blood flow thing. Long-lasting bars. Yes. Salt makes the bars very hard, which I suppose would slow down the speed of disintegration. Because salt bars are very hard, I was concerned about stamping it. So I tried stamping one of my sample slices and it crumbled. So I was afraid to try to stamp a full bar of soap because I didn't want to crumble and waste it. At this point though, it's too hard. but I'm talking the day that I cut it. Helps heal skin. Now this very well could be true because salt has an antiseptic effect, but always remember, salt will sting if you're going to use it on an open wound, but salt is a natural healer, so you use your own risk with the salt and the open wounds. Kills bacteria and neutralizes body odor. I believe that's probably true, that it kills bacteria. Neutralizing body odor, you're going to have to test that on your own self. Soothes tired muscles. That's what they say, you know, you got your Epsom salt soaking stuff. I haven't personally experienced soothed muscles from Epsom salt, but there's just regular claims on salt soothing muscles, so it must help some people. And then mineralizes skin. I don't know about that one. What does that even mean, mineralizing skin? So, natural exfoliant, got some potentially great benefits applying salt to your skin. I read that the fragrance retention on this pink sugar type from Nature's Garden is wonderfully strong. I think I'm probably going to make another salt bar or two, or more than two. It was really fun. I need to buy more salt. Have you ever tried to make a salt bar? Have you ever used a salt bar? What is your experience with the salt bar? As usual, you'll see me again making another thing of soap.